Hi, it's Mickey Dolenz here. You're listening to Inspirado Projecto.
We are on the corner of Hollywood and Highland here. Tourist Central, as one might call it here in Hollywood land. Tourist Central. I suppose there are quite a few tourist centrals around Hollywood. Hollyweird. I had an extraordinary interview with Spencer McCall, director of the Institute, Bright Axiom, Esquire, and a whole slew of other things. If you go to Vimeo, you type in Spencer McCall, MCCALL, type in Spencer McCall, and you will be astonished by the various short films that he's created so far. And I would definitely suggest to check out that stuff. He's got a very unique vision in the things that he creates. Awesomely surreal, severely unapologetic in its absurdity. Just brilliant. It cut off. Anchor will record basically up to an hour, and then it will stop. And our interview actually lasted about, maybe 2.5, 3 hours. So what you're hearing is just a portion of the entire interview. So, without further ado, let's get to it, shall we? Oh, good.
There are a couple things.
So you have a background in. First, let's go from recent things, and I'd like to kind of go down the rabbit hole trail
backwards, sure.
Where I first was inspired by you, by your work. So you just recently submitted the 9/11 Carol, is that what it's called? To Kapow. And I thought it was brilliant because you showed a portrayal of what it could be, and it was great. The voice acting, the singing, all of that. And I was like, holy cow, this one episode could totally just be released as its own audiobook. I mean, this in itself, it's so well put together. Okay, so, God, there's so many questions that are connected with this. First of all, the screenplay. There are so many little layers and so many little things, especially those who have studied the kinds of things, that are presented in this musical. All of the little tiny layers, all the little nods to all these little things that are just done in such a nonchalant thing that are just kind of just shoved in there like a pickle into the sandwich. And you're just like, wait, did I just hear that? But you're already on to the next thing. When did you start writing the screenplay?
Great question. So I think it actually started back in high school. So 9/11 happened when I was like about 16. 16. And I remember the following year we all had to do a big assembly, like the remembering, 9/11. And just because we were like, dipshit kids at that age, like we didn't understand the gravity of the situation. We were just kind of like, fucking around, and we all had our own like little issues where, I think like who's dating who and who likes who and blah blah blah, and it's just like 9/11 wasn't a thing that anybody was thinking about. But we did realize like, oh whoa, are we gonna get like a holiday out of this? Is like this gonna be like come Christmas, and are we gonna get the day off like going forward? If so, cool.
Right. What's the appropriate dress for such a thing? How do we celebrate?
Like, what is the ritual and what is the celebration of 9/11 that's going to happen in the future? And that was. I mean, we even discussed it back then. That was the idea. And then me and my friend Eric come, 15 years later. And we're living in this world of like, fake news and conspiracy theories everywhere. And I just started thinking about 9/11 as kind of the catalyst and the root of like where we're, I mean, obviously 9/11 restructured like reality as we know it. Like we're almost like in an alternate reality game right now.
Oh yeah.
Where like logic doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, let's look at this thing. Yeah. So
yeah.
I'll get a chicken Caesar. So I hope I'm not crunching too much on salad. Maybe I should get something soft. But anyway,
that adds to it. The audio, it's an audio escape.
So when we get here now in this last year, and people are talking about like pedophile sex rings under pizza parlors and just all the wacky QAnon and just, this is so wacky, where did this come from? And I think a lot of it came from like the 9/11 Commission report. So anyway, I'm personally not a conspiracy theorist at all, but a couple years ago, right during the inauguration, my friend Aaron created this giant hoax just to show like how unfeasible like truly some of these conspiracy theories actually are. Like let's say that this really is real, like this really happened. Somebody is paying like protesters to come and protest at the inauguration. How logistically would you pull that off? And so like Aaron started like figuring it out. And
like how would he do it if he were the billionaire who could afford such things? So
exactly. So he sets up the website and then he goes out to Craigslist all over the country and like TaskRabbits and starts offering like an crazy amount of money and like a free flight to DC to like protest the inauguration. However, we're not sure if you're protesting the inauguration or protesting the protesters of the inauguration.
I love it.
And it just blew up as a news story, like Washington Post and stuff. And Aaron contacts me because I have kind of a background in performance and was like, hey, do you want to go on like Tucker Carlson and Fox News tonight? And
I saw that clip.
Yeah.
I saw that. That was great.
And it's like, yep. And so it just went on and, don't break character. But it was just to show the absurdity of that situation. And so after that, I got like a pilot episode that didn't go anywhere through sort of like Vice and Pulse and stuff. And that was awesome. But at the time, I think there was a little bit of like conspiracy fatigue or something. But there was also like other shows going on, The Opposition. And anyway, but I got back into like just the absurdity and the silliness of conspiracies and started trying to figure out like the root of it and came to the conclusion or came back to the memory of like thinking about 9/11 as like a holiday, and it's like, well, what's the other like biggest holidays? So like Christmas, okay, so A Christmas Carol. So what if we took the Scrooge character and instead of just being like an asshole banker, he's like an asshole conspiracy theorist, like douche, and he's visited by the spirits of 9/11 past, present, future to get him to stop being a douche.
Oh, I love it. Can I have the eggs Benedict, please?
Sure. Can I do a chicken Caesar salad? Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeez, see, boy. No, I'm looking at those. Yeah, okay, no, that's. Yeah, that's good. That's what I'll take. Yeah, I'll have that. So then you start going, okay, well, this is great. So this is interesting to hear the series of events, how this led up. So you being a kid going, is this going to become a holiday now? That sort of marinated, sort of simmered in your brain, bam, then up comes, wait, okay, what be a holiday that we could kind of blend with this thing? And then you think, oh, well, it's kind of like the Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And then you just start altering little bits here and there.
Yeah, exactly. And then for good measure, let's make it a musical. But at the end of the day, you say, I'm making a 9/11 comedy musical. It's like, oh God, does that mean like terrorists are going to be doing like chorus lines on the planes or something? Like, no, it's not that. That's not what it is. It's more about like, anti-conspiracy theories and taking accountability a little bit and not compartmentalizing like your beliefs based on whatever is like convenient. So yeah, me and Eric and a couple other folks, we got to work and started writing it and had so much fun writing the first part that then I got my composer friend to like actually write the music, and then I took singing lessons and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sing.
Wow.
But then we had so much fun with that, we're like, well, okay, we live in a weird world right now where I don't know how to create one thing for one thing. Like, I think if you create one thing, you have to create that thing across, like, potentially platforms now. So we started writing it, and it's like a 30-minute thing. So, okay, is that a one-act play? Is that a sitcom? Is that an animated series? Or is it ultimately the first act of, like, a feature film? Or is it a podcast or a radio play, which are kind of, like, coming back right now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But, so then we're like, all right, so... I don't want to... it's not like spoilers. It's not like you're going to go watch it. Anyway, so Act 1, this like first 30-minute chunk was like A Christmas Carol. And then just to keep some form of consistency, we're like, well, what other Dickens tales can we tell? Like, let's say this is a series, like 10 episodes. Let's go through like all of Dickens' oeuvre and adapt it for this like post-truth world we're living in. So at the end of Act 1... Hillary Clinton, who's the spirit of 9/11 present, steals the time travel device, goes back in time, frames James Comey, and basically becomes president. And then we go into the satire of the worst fear that the right or not necessarily the right, but I'd say the worst fear that would have happened if Hillary Clinton had become president, where, you know, it would become this like feminist utopia, and men are just totally like, and Donald Trump, does a press conference and like blows his head off, which thus leaves like Barron Trump in an initial draft. It leaves Barron Trump an orphan who then has to go into like the work farm. So now we're in Oliver Twist, and he gets out. He gets out, and the Artful Dodger and Fagin are now like Steve Bannon, and they teach him not how to pick a pocket, but how to catcall and how to like reclaim your like chauvinist masculinity. Anyway, do all that, and then Act 3 becomes a tale of two cities between like Benghazi and Hillary's like DC, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg is like the lawyer who, you know, it's a far better thing I do now than I've ever done kind of thing. So anyway, that was it, and then we would have gone on to like Great Expectations and so on. But for now, we just did the first 30 minutes.
How cool is that we were able to just expand it that far?
We just have to. I mean, it like sometimes. I have nothing against really spending years and years and years working on something, but there's moments in life where you get hit by something and it just writes itself, and in 2 days you do something better than you spent 5 years working on.
When that inspiration strikes you and you're just going, okay, I'm letting it go where it kind of wants to go, right? Do you feel that it's like, okay, you're in the pilot seat right now. Wherever you're going, I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, that was the case with, you know, the Fox News thing. It's like I learned that morning that in 4 hours I'm going to be on like national Fox News, and so it's like, don't overthink it, but, you know, go in with a couple bullets of like, you know, well, all right, what's happening in the world right now? So Chelsea Manning's getting released from prison. You know, Peyton Manning was in the news previously, so it's like, let's combine those. And I don't know, just silly stuff like that. But
do you have improv training? Did you take improv classes and stuff?
Yeah, I did like in college and school, and then like by doing like sketch work with friends in college. And then I did like some actual just like theater. But the theater that I did in college was really cool. It was this company called Atmos Theater, and so it's like we do plays anywhere that isn't a theater. So like, you know, Midsummer Night's Dream in an actual like forest.
Awesome.
And people have to walk through and kind of interact. And this was like before Sleep No More was around. And I'm not saying any...
What's Sleep No More? What's that?
Sleep No More is this really cool thing in New York where basically you check into a hotel called the Hotel McKittrick, and then there's a bar, and like it's kind of like a speakeasy, and then these doors kind of open and you go in, and it's this really creepy, beautifully built space.
Whoa.
And in each of the rooms you walk through, you wear basically an Eyes Wide Shut mask, and you wander through a retelling of Macbeth, but done in like a 1920s like psych ward kind of thing. And you experience the play, you know, immersively. So it's not like...
So you're basically in the play, so to speak.
You walk through... It's like you're a ghost. It's like you're a ghost observing a narrative that's happening. Yeah, it's really cool.
So did that have a big effect on you, and being a part of that and going, whoa, look what's possible in terms of a theatrical experience?
Definitely. And just the idea that there, for lack of a better word, there is no us and them between audience and performer, and just that blurring is like really great. And then you can start living your life thinking, oh well, I bet like those people are in on this. You know, it's like why are those like 3 women all wearing like baseball jerseys? It's like I don't know.
Right.
You just ask questions.
Oh yeah,
constantly.
absolutely. Like when you're the engineer of such hijinks, then you will forever have that lens to look at, well, the media at large, everything that's out there. And so once you know what it's like to pull those strings, do you find that it's easier to start seeing that in other things? You're going, I know what they're doing here. I know what they're doing there. I can see through that magic.
Yeah, I don't even think you need to be like a content creator or whatever you want to say to do that. I think you just need to make a conscious decision to like look at anything and say, how can I use this in a way that it wasn't intended? So a salt shaker, you know, I don't know, what is that? What else can I do with this thing? And just making a conscious decision to just sort of observe your surroundings. I have nothing against using cell phones or anything like that, but there's some weird inspiration you can see when you look up sometimes.
Okay, so which is interesting because so talk about the immersive experience. So I saw a trailer about the Latitude Society. It's called Axiom.
In Bright Axiom, yeah.
A situation like that, which is, it seems like it's like a sleepaway camp for, you know, it looks like maybe it was a week or over a weekend. I still got to see the movie because the trailer is so phenomenal. What do you know about how that sprouted and came together and how long that is?
Yeah, so that was something that I did get to help. In fact, if you want to, I'll send you a link. We're looking for places to screen it right now, but no pressure or anything. But yeah, so that was immediately after Jejune closed. Jeff's next big project was the Latitude Society, and so that one I was much more hands-on with helping to create. You know, not the overall narrative or anything, but at that point, because the Institute had been like, for like an indie doc, I guess you'd consider successful, I'm like, I should just keep going with this and in a sense like make a sequel sort of, but about this new project. And so the idea there was sort of like, what if Disneyland is underneath your city and only like 300 people know about it?
Wow.
You know, and like literally underground. And so this giant automated house, or sort of like, maybe not Disneyland, but like the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland. You can get off and interact with literally like the robots and animatronics, and they can give you things and stuff like that. That ended up becoming, the Latitude Society was a fake secret society that ended up becoming like a real secret society in ways that like Jeff had no fucking understanding of like what the hell was going on, and people started to take it like super duper personally and seriously, and like Jejune never really had that. People always kind of, even though the lines were kind of blurred about like how much of this is real by virtue of them kind of designing it with like verisimilitude, which is like the idea that you don't make up. It's sort of like what Marvel versus DC, like you don't make up Gotham City or Metropolis, like this is in New York City, like this is your city. So Spider-Man, he could fly by like Fifth Avenue anytime, and it gives you a little bit, nothing against DC, but it gives you a little bit more of like a grounded reality where it's like, oh yeah, I remember hearing something about a girl that went missing in the 80s. I don't know if this is her. Is this her? Like, is this what this is about?
So to wrap two myths within the one, you know, to have that little extra little Easter egg kind of just simmering along while this other thing is happening, there's still that remaining question mark that's in people's brains while they're in the middle of being immersed in this other stuff.
Yeah, well, everything's about like augmented reality now, augmenting reality, but like, why don't you augment history, you know, or, you know, that kind of idea. So right now I work at Niantic, like the Pokemon Go company, but I work on a different game that's all about taking historical events and just sort of tweaking them a little bit. So, you know, one example is like Alexander the Great. You know, we know that he went on these giant military campaigns around Asia. Was he doing that just to like further his empire, or was there like a specific ulterior motive to that, and then like building out that narrative, which then potentially leads to his mysterious death, which then has lasting consequences to events that are happening like right now. So yeah, it's like augmented history, I guess.
And it's cool knowing where that sort of intended reality lies, the fringes of that, by sort of introducing those little things early on. Those are recognizable to people, so as it unfolds later on, they're going, oh.
Yeah.
And it really, it holds a stronger meaning, I would think, throughout that time, because now they're going, wait, I remember seeing that thing. Then they go back. There's always that reviewing or that reinvestigation of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so with the Latitude Society, it did a lot of that. I mean, it would talk about, like, in 1945 when the United Nations was formed, like this splinter faction came off, and you could think of that as like the Illuminati or the Masons or whatever, but it was this thing called the Clerisy. Anyway, with Jejune, it never became like a religion, even though it was a fake cult. It was never like actually a religion that gave you like a set of like tenets and rituals and practices to adhere to. But with the Latitude, it like did. And it started like freaking Jeff out a little bit, and then also a lot of the participants, or I don't know, what do you even call these people, like the members of the society, started trying to figure out ways to like kind of take his creation from him, and when that happened, he shut it down. And it's kind of like the emotional effect that had on a lot of people would not be dissimilar from like Catholicism exists. What if like one day every church on the planet just like shut its doors and like you can't get in here anymore? Like the Vatican, it's like, what does that do to somebody? So it leaves you with this like vacuum that became very toxic to everyone, and everybody was really, really hurt. And that's kind of what the film is about, is like, it makes you sort of question how many other religions that were created were potentially just immersive art projects or something.
When you do see that, because your intention was to create this sort of reality, this imagination that everyone's just, it's a lot easier. It's interesting. I was at the airport one time, and I saw this family walking along, and I saw the grandma marching along with the little grandson. And I thought, okay, let's take away the grandson. Would she still be marching like that? It's like the little kid gave her permission to march along like that, and to go, whoop, okay, now I'm suspending disbelief here. I'm not supposed to act like a grandma anymore. Now I'm a kid. And so it sounds like something like this would give people permission to really dive deeply into their characters, which I could totally understand why then that they would dive so deep into the thing. And then they're each sort of creating their own meaning within this thing, and in addition to the stories that they're creating with the other members of this thing. I'm sure.
Well, there's a through line kind of with not all, but a lot of the people, the members, was realizing that in their past they had some kind of like falling out with their religion or their community that they were in.
Interesting.
And I think that's true with a lot of people.
You must be wondering, what the heck? He promised me that there was at least an hour of this phenomenal interview with Spencer McCall, and now all of a sudden, what the heck? What's this happening? Well, I'll tell you what, you're still going to get that interview. In fact, it's more than an hour. It's an hour and 6 minutes. You're going to get it spread out over the course of a bunch of podcasts. I mean, look at all the information overload that was in there. Wasn't your mind? Is your mind spinning? All those little nuggets, all those little layers, all those little details. So the next, will it be on the next episode? We don't know. The good news is, when it does pick up next, whether it be on the next episode or 6 episodes from now, it will pick up exactly right where what you just heard left off. So you can even piece together if you want.
What are your thoughts on deep fakes? The Keanu Reeves Gump deep fake, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bill Hader and Tom Cruise deep fake, the new deep fake of Lion King being switched, deep faked from the old Lions because they didn't like the new aesthetic, so they had to deep fake it. What are your thoughts about these movies? I remember seeing, Forrest Gump meeting JFK. That was the first cinema deep fake, but now people are making alternative versions of movies, imagining other characters, other actors and actresses. What are your thoughts about deep fake? Have you been faked out by a deep fake lately? And any other thoughts about deep fakes? Man Behind the Machine, Inspirado, Projecto Radio.
Man behind the machine. The most recent deep fake I saw was a guy with a mustache. And his face was superimposed onto all of the members of Full House. It was the entire opening of Full House, and this man's face was somehow on everybody. From the cut it out guy to, Stamos, Michelle, the kids. They put his face right on there. I don't know how they do it. You got to really rotoscope the heck out of that thing, and blend it and making sure it's fitting right. All right, we got 5 minutes until I can come in here and put my laundry in here. So that's the most recent deep fake I've seen. Now, there's a phenomenal app. I got a big kick out of it, and I'm using it more now. It's called Face Swap, and so they have, like gorilla faces and a couple of different faces on there that it somehow just really glues it right there onto your face in the app. So you move your mouth, and it looks like there's an ape moving their mouth. What you can also do is search online. It enables you to search online, and it'll come up with like a little database of faces, and you just try to pick out the best one you can that closely resembles what you're looking for, and how your face is positioned. Well, I recently did one on Instagram. Well, first I recorded it, and then I uploaded it to Instagram of Eddie Vedder's face, and him talking about the podcast. And I took a picture of Eddie Vedder that was actually, it was like a profile view. It was a photo of Eddie Vedder's face in profile view. And it somehow still was able to superimpose it on my face. Now, what's really cool with this thing, and I still have yet to play with this more, but I could draw pictures. I could actually draw pictures. I've wanted to see my art animated for the longest time. I've done little bits here and there in certain capacities. I'm just thinking, a painting even. I could even import a photo of my painting, and then what you can do is it gives you the ability to draw, actually use their tools on the thing. Now you got to use your fingers, on these little tiny things, but you can actually draw around your eyes, where your nose, where your mouth is going to be. So that way it has these frame of references, and it kind of superimposes your picture on your face. And then when you talk, like for instance, imagine having Mona Lisa talk, or having the Scream guy from that whole Norwegian painting. So those are the most. Oh yeah, so the Eddie Vedder one. Oh my God, it came out. I mean, he looked like, looked like the Elephant Man, because the picture that I got of Eddie Vedder, it wasn't a straight-on shot of his face. I couldn't seem to find one that actually worked well along with my face. I think you need to make sure you're in good light, and it helps to not have a beard. And it was superimposed onto my face. Somehow it took one that made him superimposed onto my face. One of him looking off to like the left or the right, in profile. And so it emblazoned that onto my face. So his face was spread out sideways across my face. Oh my gosh. I mean, it really looked wonky. Okay, so we're gonna get back to this next part here. Is from the 311 cruise. My Hunter S. Thompson, so to speak. This also I'm going to spread out. These are the last bits of the 311 cruise audio that I have. If you want to hear any more of the shenanigans, look for any episode that has 311 cruise or 311 in the title somehow. Also, if you search in Google, I try to really describe each of these episodes really, really well. So, also they got this feature on here that if you're listening on Anchor, and I think some others, I think you can actually call me. You can actually leave a message for me that I can actually take and put on here. You can also call me. Just call me. 561-203-9179. That is the hotline. Leave your dreams, your synchronicities, all the razzmatazz, all the exciting things that you come across, the connections you make in the universe, the most bizarre things. Bam, put them in there. Call me up, put it on there. I'll play it on the air. So here we go. We're going to listen to. This was after maybe 3 or 4 days of hanging out on 311 Cruise. I put my phone off to the side, put my wallet, everything, left it in the room. I just went off. I just followed my heart. I just carpe diem'd it, man. Where did I go? Where do we go? Let's go. Bam, bam, bam. And we just moved and grooved. I just moved and grooved like that throughout the trip. So this is one of the rare instances where I got to record some of the shenanigans. And, you know, yeah, you'll hear, I mean, you'll hear a whole series of conversations going on, and that's what's so cool, because you're actually there with me. You get to zero in on which conversation you want to hear. So, check it out. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
David Lynch personally started a campaign in Hollywood to get Laura Dern an Oscar nomination for her performance in Inland Empire. He sat on the side of the road with a cow during this campaign, which was, unfortunately, unsuccessful. Stay tuned to Inspirado Projecto for more fun facts.
But I forget your name. Don't take it personally.
Dude, it's so hard because so many people already know each other, and I'm the new guy, so I gotta meet 20,000. So I met one of the DJs, the green guy, up on the roof.
The green guy, me too.
And you did?
Yeah.
He was there with this little.
With the little Asian girl, his
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah, we were up there. I bet you this would not surprise me if you were there at the exact same moment we were. You know, just knowing how this has come about. Were you out like near the back?
No, I met them inside.
Oh, you met them inside.
In the casino. We were smoking in the casino.
Oh my God! So he was in the casino doing it?
Yeah.
When we saw him there, we were out on the deck with the back, and she was recording him doing this. We ended up talking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the green DJ." And so we were asking about that. We're like, "Do you start competing with each other because you see people more dancing on that? You know, they're on blue, and you're like, oh geez, how do I get them back?" So now you're going, yeah. And you always know that if your safe bet is you're throwing a 311 song, you know you're gonna get them right back.
I was like, that's kind of a cheap move, man.
It is. That I heard down like on all three DJs that played at some point. You know, it's like they knew.
DMX on all stations.
I got the Rage Against the Machine, like,
he kept it like very different. I was like, everyone's gonna listen. Red DJ. Red DJ.
Exactly. A little bit. I leaned a little bit more.
90s stuff, right? I mean, the 80s.
Exactly. You can't just like, and then just like this. It has to
that was the one playing Metallica, right? The red one?
Did you ever feel like you betrayed a DJ because you had to jump ship? Because you're like, okay, this really isn't my cup of tea, but I kind of feel I'm invested in this kind of reality here.
If I go out 3, I'm like, okay, don't want anything.
It's not anything that you can.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, within the interim, during the commercial break, you know, something brand new has emerged.
Yeah, I mean, it's more just people watching everybody. Everyone just watches each other get down.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then like you might end up going, okay, how do I compromise with one of these? Like which one? It's like, okay, all right, okay, what the hell? Let's just see what we can do here. I was very surprised there was like a reggae station like that. And there was like a very slow reggae song, and I'm like, okay, let me just see if I can just get into the easy flow of this thing. And then once I did, you know, and then they flipped on to another, I'm like, oh my gosh, holy cow, I'm invested in this station right now.
I got stuck on that station too. You went out the tribal seeds guys.
Oh my God, it was great. It was so fun. I loved that everybody could share. You know, they're each living their own reality. It's beautiful. It's a symbolic representation of just how it is, which is so crazy. So everybody was living their own reality, yet coexisting together, and also a reality they're co-creating and vibing.
From now on into the next week, I'll
That shit was so cool. You guys were there like every time that happened.
We tried to.
I saw you guys.
It was
like,
just
2
so
nights.
fun. You know, like once I went the first night.
You guys were lit with your costumes too.
Oh my god, yeah.
That was so fucking cool.
Dude. It was so
You
funny.
guys had like the real ones too. Those were like official.
Yeah, we've looked on like oh gosh, what's the name of the site? I want to say it's like it's called like the Aviator, and it's got all of these like army and like military surplus kind of shit. Yeah, so we bought those epaulets, the little things that go
inside the door.
Yeah, we found those on there. The T-shirts, we try to get the exact same kind of shirt, the same pants, similar pants, the same shoes. So we want to look like, like we're just this uniform thing that's going on.
You guys look very official.
Thank you.
It was dope to see you guys.
We had so much fun.
I was shocked when you guys came on. I was like, oh shit, these guys are fucking awesome.
Thank you.
I was a fan, man. I was like, I don't want to miss out.
I think when you put the focus more on this audience and getting to share, like, okay, tell me more about yourself. Hey audience, tell us more about yourself. It's like now they're feeding right back into it, rather than the guys who are like, hey, I'm the cool guy. It's that doesn't have much fuel to it, But if you're like, it's all about you, just like her awesome name tag, you. I mean, if you just go, it's about you, now it's awesome because now you're actually having someone stand and look at themselves in the mirror. It's like an amazing subliminal thing that you're doing there by putting you on your name tag. It's just brilliant.
That is awesome.
Saying like, hey, you.
Even though we were burning in the sun. That was like fun putting my name on it.
It was
hard, right?
Like you. I don't want to go get it. Exactly.
Light at like 6:15.
Was this your first cruise ever? Like on the
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Okay, so
this is like, we dreamed of playing on a cruise because we always joke about our show being a time travel dream cruise. We like to play with that idea, like, okay, you're on our. So whatever venue we're at, we always got the fog machines. So it's like the mists of, you're riding through the night, the winds of, like we would feel the winds, so we try to recreate that feeling like we're the house band on a freaking yacht, wherever we go. So it's like a time travel dream cruise. Let's take it back to the 70s and 80s. So what's so interesting was we'd be like, oh, wouldn't that be great if we ended up playing on cruises? In the meantime, our guitarist plays basketball with Nick Hexum.
Oh, he was playing ball with him?
He plays ball with them. And so one of the team guys came out to see Yächtley Crëw and showed Nick, and he's like, dude, look, there's Tommy, look at. And then all of a sudden an idea was born, and he's like, you got to get a hold of my manager. Make sure you email him. So then Tommy emailed him, and oh my God, so he knew about this whole thing about a year before. And we had to keep it quiet. It's like, I want to say something. Yeah, we'd be quiet, and once it evolved, it was so crazy. Like now we have a gig at Disneyland at California Adventure every Sunday and Monday during the wine festival.
Oh, does it have a wine festival going on?
There's this thing.
Wine?
Yeah. Dude, we always joke about all the great Will Ferrell films, and one of them's like, we gotta play the fucking wine mix, Catalina wine mixer. So that would actually be a very awesome thing to actually do that. Oh my God, the wine mixer.
That is the wine mixer.
Oh my God, the Catalina. Dude, you're right. It's like we're sort of manifesting reality.
That's your version of the
Oh my God, I love it, dude. That's brilliant. You pointed that out. What an astounding revelation. That's our version of the Catalina wine mixer. It happens to be at Disneyland California Adventure. Oh my God. So like every Sunday, Monday.
I don't know if you're going to be selling helicopters rentals.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, buy your helicopter seats for the Yächtley Crëw concert. You know, just hover over the concert. Oh my God!
I already said.
Well, we're all living in California.
Also, you're all from there. Oh, word. That's what I'm telling you.
That went on. How much?
Nice. SoCal.
Yeah. Like some of us, some of us live in the Hollywood area. Some of us live in sort of the Valley, what's called the Valley. And we just, we've been, I mean, it's, it really helps when you appreciate your teammates. And I feel the sense of, like we have this pseudo family band. So I'm Stony Shores, he's Pauly Shores. Then we got Tommy Bowie, David Bowie, Baba Bowie.
Baba Bowie, nice.
So we got the Bowie brothers, and then we got Sailor Hawkins, and then we got Philly Ocean. So you give this, Philly Ocean, lead singer, Sailor Hawkins on drums, and so you give this idea like it's a family band, and I think subconsciously that has gone into how we treat each other. Yeah. Look at this guy, I love it. He's just hanging out on the ground. Oh my God, that's awesome. The guy's just laying on the ground by the pool. I love it. I love this. During the 311 cruise, it felt like everybody follows the golden rule and is aware and considerate. And what goes along with that is the freedom to just fall asleep in the middle of the floor of the casino, which is beautiful because dude, it's great. Yeah. Because you know that you're safe. You know that no one's gonna kick you in the balls. You're right. No one's gonna rob you
or draw on your face.
Dude,
no, last cruise people were drawing in people's faces though.
They were,
but instead of drawing, my boy was stamping people with dicks.
Oh my God!
A dick stamp, he just stamped
no
you.
way.
So if you got dick stamped, then you knew he stamped you.
Oh my God! There are so many little Easter eggs like that all throughout this whole thing.
A lot of people do cool shit like that.
That is so funny. Like the clothing pins that said you've been tagged. Such a brilliant idea. You're like, wait, what's this? And you're like, okay, well, let's see if I can sneak it on this guy's elbow when he's not looking or something.
Somebody was doing that? The clothing?
Oh my God, yeah, there's a clothespin that said you've been tagged. Oh, because like on here it show, there are different little mottos and stuff.
Damn, I need to give you mine.
Oh, dude, you know what? I promised a woman that I would give this to someone who had like a shining spirit. Look at this. Keep the light within.
Oh shit.
Southern Cross Police. Now check this out. There's a secret hidden message on the inside of the bracelet. Ecclesiastes 3:11.
Oh, how the hell they did this one?
Isn't that cool?
That is fucking dope.
So she told me to pass it on to someone who I saw a shining. Yeah, so that's for you. That's for you.
Thanks, dude.
Dude, you're welcome.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Respect, man.
Dude, it's she was so happy when she was describing this to me. She's like, and that's not all. Look on the inside. I'm like, wait, what? It's like a secret code in there.
Yeah, mine's got that too.
Dude.
I got one like this and mine glows in the dark. I gotta give you mine, man.
It's awesome. It glows in the dark. Oh my God, man.
Oh, this one's sick, though. Thank you so much.
It's been so fun seeing the love and
it goes into the bracelet.
Yeah, man.
And they quote a lot of songs too.
Oh my God.
Like that's what the majority of them are, like quotes from songs.
It's so intriguing because even if it's 3 or 4 words from a lyric, there's something about that resonates with that person.
Exactly.
That then also resonates with all the other folks because now their attention is called to that. So they like go back and listen. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so fun. Everyone's good vibes and good intentions on this trip so far just keep going and going. It's fun when you come across someone who's got the same bracelet that you do. You're like, oh my God, you came across them too. So now there's another familiarity. Now you're like, okay, cool. I had a great rapport with that person. You had a great rapport with that person. And because of that,
it just keeps going
bam.
around, man.
Oh my God.
Spreading.
Oh my God, it's so exciting.
Data mine, data mime, data wind, data slime, data time, data dine, data dime, data mind, data wind, data sky, data try, data spell, data well, data wine, data twine, data grind, data find, data win, data swim, data love, data glove, data flow, data slow, data spire, data lime, data time, data Esquire.